The age of heroic paintings. Napoleon crossing the Alps. Jacques-Louis David painted several similar versions of this painting. This one from 1801 is in the Belvedere in Vienna. Heroic in subject matter and heroic in size, weighing in at 2.75 by 2.32 metres, or 9 feet by 7 feet 7 inches. A painting like this is not merely the personal expression of an artist. It was commissioned by the French ambassador to Spain, intended to hang in the royal palace in Madrid as a symbol of the new relationship between France and Spain, now that Napoleon Bonaparte had installed himself as First Consul of France. First Consul was a title Napoleon invented to give the appearance of being part of a ruling group for the French Republic. In reality, Napoleon had made himself sole dictator. The painting, then, is at once a symbol of relationship between states, a representation of a historical moment, and most importantly, a matter of political persuasion, propaganda, a kind of hero veneration, a recognition of Napoleon as really more than just a first among equals, but the preeminent power in France, a dictator who had won the popular acclaim of his countrymen. Art to persuade. Sure, there's been a lot of that. You could argue that all art at some level exists to put across some idea, even if the artist could not express it in words, especially if the artist could not express it in words. As Edward Hopper said, if you could say it in words, there would be no reason to paint. From paintings with obvious meanings, to the confrontational, to the expressions of injustice, to horrific commentaries on the human condition, to the inner nameless disquiet of The Scream, to the despair of one of Rothko's darker works, somewhere there is meaning. The Impressionists painted the then modern world to uncover the shock of the new, to portray simple fields and gardens, but always seeking to put across something, even if only the dreamy quality of a lovely afternoon by the Seine. But art as propaganda? Not new at all. Kings and queens have been using the power of the commissioned portrait to tell their story, add to their prestige, and bump up their credentials to all who see the work of art. David is no different here. But in addition to a mere portrait, he has the added advantage of being able to portray a real event. Napoleon taking troops up and across the Alps, through the Great St. Bernard Pass, a little used and risky route through which to take troops. Napoleon wanted to engage with the Austrian army. Having finally traversed the Alps, Napoleon fought the Austrians at the Battle of Marengo in June 1800, securing a decisive victory. Against a dramatic sky, Napoleon astride his horse fills the canvas. A strong diagonal provides a sense of action and strength. There is absolutely no doubt about who is the hero of this painting. The wind is at his back, bellowing his cape forward, blowing the horse's mane forward, and even Napoleon's hair. His ungloved hand points forward and up over the Alps, onward to victory in his seemingly noble quest to bring order to his world. His clothing is crisp and clean, his hat and glove displaying the symbols of power and authority, added to by his sword resting in its golden scabbard by his side. The red of the cape, blue of the coat, and white of the cummerbund echo the tricolour of the French flag. The horse is vital and strong, rearing up in its eagerness to go forward, its hide well brushed, its hooves shining with new horseshoes. This is the new France on the move. This is the leader who has led us to victory and will do so again. In passing, we may note that putting a horse on canvas is not easy, and this one surely rates among the best, both in proportions and in lively action. In the background, lower down below and to the left of the horse, we see Napoleon's soldiers making their way up the steep pass, hauling heavy artillery. Every man but one is facing forward, And this man is only facing back to encourage those behind him forward, his sword pointing the way. Further down the slope, France's tricolour itself blows upward, pointing onward to victory. In the rocks below the horses' hooves are the names of those who have taken this pass before in pursuit of victory. Hannibal, barely legible, military leader of the Carthaginians, and Carolus Magnus, that's Latin for Charles the Great, that is Charlemagne, Holy Roman Emperor. Both historical conquerors now being joined in glory in cleanly cut new letters, Bonaparte, Napoleon's name added to the honour roll of those who have gone before. More propaganda, Napoleon seeing himself as part of the pantheon of victors. Jacques-Louis David has used the red of the cape to draw us to Napoleon's face, and has used the dark blue of the lower part of the hat to provide a strong contrast with the face, drawing us even closer in. Napoleon monopolises all strong colour in the painting. His clear face, the dark royal blue of his coat, the flesh-coloured leggings and white cummerbund, and that cape. Napoleon actually owned such a cape, the red symbolising spiritual as well as temporal power. All other colour in the painting is subservient, indistinct as it recedes into the distance. Even the beloved tricolour, washed out due to the atmospheric effect employed to denote distance. Finally, the dramatic sky speaks of great events unfolding before our eyes, history in the making. The skies acknowledging the glory of France, the clouds parting as Napoleon calls his troop onwards and upwards to victory. Art as propaganda, of course, but a magnificently executed painting just the same. David was called upon to make several copies. This one is signed, not all were. Where? Just here on the front yoke of the horse. For almost 14 years from this moment, Napoleon held sway over Europe, finally being defeated first at Leipzig and being confined to Elba, where he escaped and created enough support for one more push, which ended in 1815 in the Battle of Waterloo, where the Duke of Wellington, with a coalition of others, roundly defeated Napoleon. The Napoleonic Wars changed history. David's painting captures the glory and singleness of purpose of Napoleon's early campaign. But all such empires, based on the arrogance and lust for glory of one man, are destined to fail. A Waterloo awaits all dictators, but of course this never stops them. Jacques-Louis David, Napoleon crossing the Alps. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please press like. If you want to be notified when I put out more reactions to great art, please subscribe. See you next time.